Hello and happy new year. It is now 2021 and yes, I have not posted a video in quite a few months. 2020 was crazy. The past few months have been crazy. And one of my goals for 2021 is to refocus on this channel and to post more. 2020 was one of the most transformative years of my entire life. So much happened, good, bad, and everything in between. And so I want to take a moment to reflect on 2020 and just go over each month of last year and some of the significant things that happened, because this is something I want to remember, because 2020 was a year. It was a year. So I wrote everything down just so that I wouldn't forget anything, because seriously, you guys, there's so much to talk about. And I hope that this will also kind of help explain why I didn't post for a little bit, because I was just so busy and also just working so much on myself. Like 2020 was the year that I grew so much personally, and for that I am very thankful. It is absolutely crazy to me that I rang in 2020 in Dublin, Ireland, and that was my first international trip, besides going to Canada a few times when I was a kid. But this was like my first big European trip that I had ever gone on. I went to Amsterdam, Dublin, and London, and that is where I spent New Year's Eve last year, was in Dublin, Ireland. It was so much fun. And then when I came back, I started my second semester of grad school. As most of you know, I am in grad school for clinical mental health counseling, and so I started my second semester of that. I started my first official job. As a lot of you guys also know, I work at a daycare teaching 1-year-olds. And that is probably one of the best things to come out of 2020. I absolutely love my job. I still work there. I just get to love on babies all day, and that job has been so rewarding and like seriously one of the best things to come out of the year. February came, and one thing that I also did was I started going to counseling, and I got on medication because the end of 2019 into 2020, I've made some videos about this. I was in a very, very low place. I was suicidal, depressed, anxious, and really my self-esteem was at an all-time low. And so I finally got help for that, which was really good. It wasn't until February that the daycare that I work at like officially opened, and so that was also very exciting. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl, which I'm from Kansas City, so that was a huge deal for us. And as also being a mega Survivor fan, they premiered their 40th season, Winners at War, which was something that I was like so looking forward to the minute I found out they were doing an all-winner season. And so that was just truly a major part of my year, something that brought me so much joy. And then we hit March, and this is when the pandemic really became full-blown in the United States. We went into quarantine, and that was, you know, all my grad school became virtual, and it was just very chaotic, very hectic. And in the midst of all of that, my cousin had a baby, which was so exciting for our family. So March was kind of a turning point for 2020. It really set the tone for the rest of the year. You guys seriously don't know how good it feels to be filming again. Moving forward to April, this whole month was spent in a stay-at-home order in lockdown. So I was just chilling at home, watching TV shows, working on my grad school stuff. Like a pretty chill month, but a very weird month at that. May was interesting because I finished my second semester of grad school. I went back to work, and I also had a friendship end, which I don't really want to go into a lot of detail about, but like that situation was so painful, but at the same time it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because I truly believe that a lot of the things that followed would not have happened had that not occurred, because it really pushed me to look inside myself, to grow, and to also take advantage of opportunities that I don't know that I would have done otherwise. So At the time, horrible. Like, horrible experience. But in hindsight, like, I'm so grateful for it because I would not be where I am today if that had not happened. And like, I cannot tell you how happy I am and what a good place I'm in. And I don't want to jump the gun because I'm going to get to that later. But yeah, so it was a weird month. I'm not going to say it was that great of a month, but it really did. It was very much a turning point for the rest of the year. So then June hits, and all in the same week, I had an eye surgery. I started my summer semester of grad school, and I was still working full time. So it was so much, but I'm so proud of myself for being able to handle it all. And then I also turned 24 in June, and I cut my hair. As you can see if you look at old videos, my hair used to be super long, like past down to my butt pretty much. And I mean, it's still long now, but now it's just past my shoulders. And you know, the main reason I just impulsively decided to cut it after growing it out for so long was I was just reflecting, you know, like I said, I had just gone through losing a friendship, and just in general, the past couple of years had been not the greatest. And I thought, what the heck, let's just cut my hair. People say, you know, that cutting your hair, dyeing your hair is a good way to start a new chapter in life. That's what I wanted to do. So I decided to chop it off, and honestly, no regrets. I still love my hair. And in July, I finished my summer semester of grad school, which was great. So then in August, I decided before starting my 4th semester of grad school, I decided to go visit my sister in Colorado, which was interesting. It was flying and traveling for the first time during a pandemic. I also flew by myself for the first time. This is the last video that I posted on this channel was all about that trip. So that was huge for me and a huge step out of my comfort zone. And then I ended the month by going on a date, which kind of led to my first kind of relationship that I'd ever, it wasn't anything official, but it was a lot of new experiences for me, and again, so much growth came out of that. And I don't think that I would have even put myself out there and gone on that date had I not been looking to just meet more people and expand my social circle, because I had lost a number of friends a few months prior. So then September was just hectic. I was working full time. I was in 10 credit hours of grad school, which is over full time. So I was super busy, and I was also wasting some time on a stupid boy because, you know, that's just how it be sometime. But I also started laser hair removal, which again was just one of the best things that came out of this year. Deciding to go ahead and start that process has been amazing. If you guys want a detailed video on my experience with laser hair removal, I'm happy to make one because I'm just like its biggest advocate right now. So let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in learning more about. But yeah, September was just hectic, super busy, and that's partially why I kind of pulled back from posting, because I just couldn't handle another thing on my plate at that moment. In October, I did dress up as a red crayon for Halloween at my work, which was so fun. And I also went to a drive-in movie comedy show to see A Neighbor Got See, which was so fun, and I think so significant in the fact that it was like going to a comedy show during a pandemic, so we were all in our cars, and it was such a unique experience, but so much fun. And it was nice to finally like buy a ticket to something and like go to something, because I hadn't since March. So that was really fun. I love Nate Bargatze. He's so funny, one of my favorite comedians. So that was just so fun. November rolls around and I experienced my first COVID Thanksgiving, which ended up, it was, you know, we did not do our traditional Thanksgiving at my uncle's house like we normally would. We stayed at home, and it was just my immediate family, and it ended up being super special and super fun. I got tested for COVID. It came back negative, but that was my first time getting tested, which the nurses there were like, dang, you made it till November without getting tested. Like, that's pretty good. So that was great. I just had experienced like a fever, and it was truly just some kind of cold. I work with kids, so germs are everywhere, but of course I wanted to be safe and get tested before going back to work after seeing that I had a fever. I voted for the first time, and you know, one of my biggest regrets was not voting in the 2016 election, so I wasn't gonna let that happen again. I voted in 2020, and that was super fun. It was a first. I had my fall eye doctor appointment, which I normally would have made a dedicated video updating you guys about how that went, but everything went well. My pressures were low, everything looked good, my vision seemed stable, so that was such a relief, because honestly I just never know anymore how they're gonna go. I ended the month by meeting another stupid boy, and that's all I'm gonna say. To be determined on the outcome of this situation. And then in December, of course, we had our first COVID Christmas. I finished my 4th semester of grad school, and it was my first holiday season at my work, and that was so fun. Our families at my job are literally so generous and so nice, and they make me feel so blessed and so appreciated. So it really was such a wonderful month. I rang in the new year at home, which felt so lame from going to Dublin, Ireland to just at my house. But I was able to Zoom with a lot of friends that were made during this pandemic, and you know, taking shots and drinking at everybody's new year. Like it really was so fun and so special. I have no regrets. Like I wanted to go out, I wanted to have fun, but staying home just seemed like the more responsible, safer option. And I am traveling in about a week, so I just didn't want to risk, you know, catching COVID now between then. Overall, just reflecting on this year, like I cannot express to you what a shift it has been from where I started in January to where I am now. Like I started the year at such a low place. Yes, I was traveling Europe and I was doing all these really fun things, but my mental health was so bad. Like I have mentioned this before, but I did not want to live anymore. Like I had lost all desire to live life. So the beginning of this year really was me just seeking help for my mental health, and then before you know it, like we enter into a pandemic and the whole world is basically on fire and burning, and it was chaotic, but somehow through all of that, like I really learned how to step out of my comfort zone. I had so many first experiences in 2020, and learning that like I am more capable than I ever thought. I've really learned to not count myself out. Like I can genuinely say my self-esteem is higher than it's ever been, which is wild to me, because even just saying that my self-esteem is good, in the past I would have been like, that's so embarrassing that you're saying that, like you're so ugly, you're so, you know, incapable of doing things, like everyone's judging you. I literally couldn't even verbalize those thoughts without thinking all these negative thoughts afterwards. My relationships with my family and friends are literally stronger than they've ever been. I feel so blessed, so grateful for that. I was able to really like reflect on myself and to really like process through so much of the shame that I was carrying. Like I felt ashamed for being depressed. I felt ashamed for being anxious and suicidal. I felt ashamed for, you know, living my life and I felt ashamed for kind of like separating from my religious upbringing and not being this like goody-goody Christian that I had been for so long. Like I had felt so ashamed for just who I was, and now like I was able to really just like take that off and normalize like who I am, and like normalize that like there's really just no shame in being me. And that's where I've just learned to have like a healthy sense of self-esteem. Like other people's opinion of me is not my business, and I am really working on not trying to people please. That is maybe more of a 2021 goal, not gonna lie, but like I I am really grateful for 2020 because I think that years like this just really help refine us, and that's truly how I feel. Like I feel like a refined version of myself, ready to walk into 2021. I'll be turning 25 in 6 months, and I really feel like that is a turning point for me, stepping into this second quarter of life, and I'm just genuinely happy, and I'm only happy because of myself. Like it's not relying on anything else but me and but where I'm at, and just feeling very grateful for what I have and where I'm at, and wanting to continue to grow, pursue new experiences, and continue to step out of my comfort zone. Like I never knew what it meant to take risks until 2020, and now I just feel like way more clarity about who I am and what I want in life. And I'm hoping to translate that through my future videos. Like I'm likely not going to be the same person that I have been in my past videos, because I love to look back at those, and you know, at the moment that was the truest version of me, but now I do feel like I'm someone completely different, and that's okay. Like I don't need to feel ashamed about growing and being different. And if you no longer resonate with this version of me, like that's okay too. Like you don't have to continue to watch my videos and subscribe, but I'm just really excited about making videos that are just in line with me and who I am. So yeah, that's my review of 2020. Wild year, transformative year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a comment, start some conversation. It's been so good to reconnect with you guys, and I promise I will be uploading again soon, so I will see you in my next video.